For
You want chocolate? Andy. Right. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. This is our Richmond Advisory Council meeting for Tuesday, October the 3rd. Due to the absence of our chair, I will be presiding over this meeting. I'm vice chair. And to start this meeting at the time. 5:01. Okay, thank you. So roll call, please. Bill, Tony.
Don. Beverly.
Here.
Martha. Not here. Dulce.
Here.
Annie King Meredith.
Here.
Princess Robinson. And Jorge.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the approval of the agenda and the minutes for tonight's meeting and for the agenda minutes of last month.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda and approve the minutes submitted for last month as.
and second.
Y'all in a hurry, everybody in a hurry. Okay, thank you. Okay, may I have a motion?
It was.
Now, second. Go ahead. Bree.
I motion.
Who's second?
I second.
Okay, okay. Any, everyone is in favor of these two motions? Aye. Okay. It carries. Okay, Tanya.
First on the agenda is public comment. You can please raise your hand if you want to make public comment. I see one person in the audience. And we will be using the mic just so that people in Zoom can hear because it did work last time. Yeah.
My concern is just for large trucks that keep coming into Richmond using Fred Jackson, Market Street towards Wormwood Boulevard. And also, I wasn't aware that we allow vehicles that carry flammable materials such as a truckload of propane tanks driving through the neighborhood.
Okay, sir, could you state your name, please, so we can have it documented in the minutes, please?
Keith Frank, resident of Wormwood.
Thank you.
I'll check on the flammable and see with environmental health if that's allowed or not. And if they can enforce that, because I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, that just happened this morning.
Okay.
As far as the truck route, there's a truck route sign on the corner of Fred Jackson Way and Broadway, when you see Riverside Drive, and the trucks are not going anywhere. They're coming in this way across the bridge, across Fred Jackson making a left on Market Avenue, and I brought it up several times before because they're going to businesses that are located literally less than 2 blocks off of Railroad on the U Road and other businesses that are up there. So why are diesel trucks people coming down to a residential area?
So this is where, are we having any of our law enforcement to come in to see, or are they on Zoom? Do you hear this?
Yeah, I see Mark, Lieutenant Rodriguez,
Is
he's,
that CHP?
I don't see CHP. I did get a call from them. I know that they have been coming, but they've been short staffed and they
Right,
said that they're still, in the process of hiring someone, but I do have their number. So I can give them a call and, you know, Mark, Lieutenant Rodriguez is here too, so I'll follow with CHP and see if they can enforce. Do you feel like there's like a time where it gets busier than others?
because this is what I wanted to share with y'all. Once you speak, and then I can share what I've done in the past.
It ranges, like today, 2 diesel trucks came in on like at 10 AM and another one came in at 11:30. They all made left turns off of Fred Jackson onto Market Avenue, one sort of number.
Okay. What I've done, and your location is on the corner, your location is on the corner of the market in Fred Jackson. I know you all will. If you look at me, I'm gonna, you know who I am.
Oh, I know who you are.
Okay, so what you can do, and this is what I've advised over the last few years. If you could be camera ready to take a picture of the, I know you won't be able to see the front of the truck, but you can see the back of it coming.
I did take a picture of the flammable diesel truck.
Did you take the
I
license?
took the license plate.
Take the license plate and the company that is from, the company and the license.
Yeah, I got the
No.
side view and the rear view.
Right, save that, save that. And what you do, you report it to CHP, okay? And when you see them coming in, you're building a case. That's what you're doing. And I did that several times. And I stopped a lot of you from coming through.
I spoke to one, this is a few years ago, this is right after, no, this is right before the pandemic. I actually caught up with one in the truck driver.
And that's why some.
Yeah, and he actually said what we've been saying in the past meetings, it's a lot easier to come through Fred Jackson versus going all
Right,
the way
so
around.
that's not.
Is it-
Yeah.
So, yeah,
People are hearing an echo.
are they in there?
Did the echo go away or is it still, can you still hear an echo?
The room log bounces.
You sound really clear, Tanya. I think maybe when others are speaking, there's a bit of an echo, or it's a little bit warbled.
Okay, so what we're gonna do, we have, a mic that will be one to each speaker, and hopefully that would cut down on a lot of the echoiness and the clearness, of speaking, okay? How am I going? Can you hear me clear?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you for your comments. Okay, anyone else? Other comments? We have 3 up here, Latifa and someone else. Oh, Ms. Eleanor Thompson.
And Asha?
Okay, so Latifa, if you may.
Good evening. Hello, Miss Annie and everyone there. Well, a couple things. So I have my picture. I have a picture of a truck, so I'll send that to whomever I'm supposed to send that to. A couple quick things, still waiting to hear with regard to the street sweeping, still waiting to hear with regard to the street lights. But my the other announcements are about a couple of things. So on October 27th, from 10 to 2, we are partnering with the Kareem Sane Family Center. It's going to be a food as medicine event. So again, that's October 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have fresh produce. We'll have community resources. It's going to be a lots of fun, and I think maybe Ms. Janine will add something later on in the meeting. The other thing I wanted to let you all know that Food for Thought, we're also partnering with Food for Thought to assist them December 9th through the 14th. They're going to be delivering food just before the winter break to the families to make sure that the children have food over the break. So they're looking for volunteers, Food for Thought. So the contact for that is Jeff, and I'll give you his phone number, or you can contact me, 510-406-5275. And that's what I wanted to share this evening for the announcements. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Eleanor Thompson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for letting me come on here. I just wanted to say thank you, Tanya, for all the information concerning the Resource Center and knowing that Neighborhood House possibly is going to be bringing one, and Ebony Wallace is going to be bringing one. So, so we're going to have two Resource Center in North Richmond. So I guess the word is make the vision plain. And so it must have been very plain. We're going to have two resources in, and I'm happy about that. And I'm happy about hearing that the Neighborhood House of North Richmond is involved in it. Thank you all. Oh, Latifa, one more thing. Thank you for attending the 4th of July event. It usually be a little bit bigger, but this year we didn't seem like everything went wrong. They voted up the plugs for one that we usually use for our music.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then close off the streets. So thank you so much for attending.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for inviting us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone, were you done, Ms. Eleanor? Hello? I guess you were.
There's two more people.
Okay, you can see that better than me, and I can see the other two.
Asha, do you want to go?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Asha Sethi and I work for the California Department of Toxic Substances Control. I want to introduce myself to those of you I haven't met. I have had the chance to speak to a few of you regarding the Brookside Drive project. And so I just wanted to provide an update. I'd spoken to Dante before he left Healthy Contra Costa about just, joining these meetings to provide an update whenever there's information to share. And I've been in correspondence with Tanya about setting up a community meeting to discuss the approval of the removal action work plan for the site. Prior to any work happening at the site, we want to make sure there's plenty of sufficient notice and time and opportunity to engage in dialogue and feel any questions or concerns that the community has. So you won't see the remedial work happening until next year in 2024. But I think the idea is that we wanted to have a meeting sooner rather than later, so that if you have any questions about the removal action work plan, then we can discuss that with you. So that's the technical name of this document. That's the cleanup plan for the site. So happy to take any questions, or I'll go ahead and put some information in the chat if people want a link to any of the materials. I'm happy to send that, and love to add more folks onto our email list. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else coming?
Nama? We have one more.
One more? Okay. You're on.
I thought that Eleanor was before me. Can I go though? Should I go?
Who?
This is
Eleanor, I don't think
She has to lower her hand. She's already spoken. It's your turn.
all right. Thank you. So hi everyone. My name is Rama, the Watershed Project. I know a lot of you here. Great to see you. I wanted to speak with you about two topics. If it's too much, then I'll leave one of them for the next time. But
well, we have I'm sorry, when you get started, we have 3 minutes. This is public comments.
Yep. I know.
Okay.
So I'll be quick. I wanted to talk with you for a second about the trees and the neighborhood. We work on a project called North Richmond Watershed Connections, where one of the things we do is we map the amounts of trees in the neighborhood. And currently, the North Richmond is one of the neighborhoods with the least tree coverage in the whole area. About 11% of the surface is covered with trees, and that's a very low percentage. And trees, as you know, they produce a lot of benefits. They reduce the heat waves. They reduce air pollution. They make it nicer to walk in the neighborhood. And so we're working on a project to plant more trees in the neighborhood. And that's a project that's still open. So if any of you are residents of the neighborhood and want us to come and plant trees in your front yard, we're happy to do that. So that's one way to increase the tree coverage, to plant new trees. But the other way is to protect older trees. And you know, in the neighborhood, the biggest trees are the ones next to the Las Deltas developments. And you, all of you know, you stand in front of those developments, and there's this huge trees that really create the only shade in the neighborhood. And now that most of these developments have been sold, they are private property, and we're concerned for their future. We're concerned that the developers will cut them down. And what we did is we worked with Tanya and with the housing authority to create flyers that we want them to give the private developers, in encouraging them, explaining the benefits of trees and encouraging them to protect those trees. But at this point, I really want all of you to be aware of that. Those are private properties. There's nothing to do about it. But I want you to be aware of that and help us encourage the developers to save those trees for the benefit of all the residents in the neighborhood. Thank you. I'll talk about the other issue next time.
Hey, thank you. Are there anyone else?
I just see one more person, Arthur.
Yes, that's Arthur.
Hello, Director King Meredith. My name is Ardo Rentila. I'm calling from the Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council, and I wanted to invite everybody on this call and everybody in North Richmond up to Hilltop Mall on Friday, October 27th, around 6 o'clock. We'll be passing out candy for all the kids. There's going to be plenty to go around. You just drive through, have your kids dress up, and if you want to participate, feel free to come up, get a hold of myself, or maybe through Director Meredith. She could help you. And we want people to come up, get dressed up, and pass out candy if they like, or just come up and get some candy. So again, that's at the Hilltop Mall at the Macy's parking lot. You'll be able to drive through, and free candy for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any others?
Just a question about the tree thing.
Do give the video.
I have a question about the tree, because I have a huge tree in my yard and ever since it's been maintained, it's kind of thinking about getting rid of it, but do they have, I know they were talking about planting trees, but do they assist in helping maintain it, because it's super tall and it's a lot. It costs a lot to maintain the tree. My neighbor has a lot of trees. I think right where I'm at has a lot of trees. Yes, I'm just asking is there any services in helping them keep them healthy and fresh that tree?
No, and I can kind of, with trees on your private property, it's your private property, that's usually part of your maintenance, to have an arborist to come out. I've had arborists to come out to my property to cut trees, so I don't know any, they may give you a discount. I have had them give me a discount because of me being a senior. But usually you have to find an arborist to come out and do the cutting for you.
Pardon me, is that a fruit tree that she's talking about or no?
Who's asking?
Latifa.
This is Latifa. We have, if it's a fruit tree, we have people that can come out and help.
How tall is your tree?
It's not a fruit tree.
It's not a
Oh, it's not.
Not a fruit tree, no.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay, one more comment and we get ready.
In regards to the fruit tree, my mom has a fruit tree. I personally planted with it.
Yeah.
My mom has planted. Is this senior citizen for the fruit trees?
No, what I'm saying, I found an arborist to cut my trees. And what they do, as me being a senior, this is like a couple of years ago, he came out and he cut. And the cost is kind of, it depends on what it is, but we had a really bad windstorm. And one of the magnolia branches broke. And what I did in order not to kill or disease my tree, my magnolia tree, I had an ordinance to come out and he cut that branch and actually chopped it up and took it away. The discount wasn't that, well, I mean, you know, it wasn't that loyal, but it was, you know, it was something like a 10% off the $800 that I paid. So, you know, you're looking at $80. One more, I just want you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a brief comment. I'm with the local tool library, you know, so if you are a North Richmond resident, we have, you know, we have chainsaws, we have a big pole saw, we have a ladder that gets up to 20 feet. So if, you know, if you're really looking to try to maybe do some of the work yourself or hire someone to just maybe they'll crawl up in the tree and use our tools, but you can rent it, you can check these tools out for free. So that's kind of another way to think about trying to reduce the costs and doing as much of the work install as you can.
Okay, all right, one more.
I don't think I misunderstood that. For the gentleman in the back, I think Latifa was saying that for fruit trees, they could come.
Yeah, for fruit trees.
Only for fruit trees, but I think that's what they have.
And I think why, probably, and you correct me if I'm wrong, over the years, we've had Urban Tilt to give us fruit trees. And it was part of maintaining, you know, the maintenance of the fruit trees. So you're looking at like 5 to 6 years of growth of a fruit tree. So they may feel that they will be able to come out and help you maintain it because they were the one that had given you the tree. Okay, the fruit trees. So I think this is why we mentioned fruit trees, because, you know, particular nightmare. Okay.
Well, Miss Annie, just one more thing. So this, as of this year, even if we didn't provide the fruit tree, we're able to come out and assist.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna keep it moving, okay? But thank you all for your comments, for the public comments, okay? So let's go into our next item on the agenda. Do we have law enforcement on Zoom? And if we do, if it's the sheriff or it's the Richmond PD,
I only
Is there time?
see Lieutenant Rodriguez.
and he is our sheriff,
Mhm.
okay?
Hi, good evening, guys. Thank you for having me. I'll start off with the monthly reports. For the month of September, we had 360 calls for service. 34 reports were generated as a result of those calls for service. For our select crime trends, in July, we had 12. In August, we had 10. And in September, we had 8. Of those, a lot of it, one was a stolen vehicle recovery, but primarily all property crimes. One of the biggest things of note, as many of you are probably aware, is that our telecommunication lines, specifically the AT&T lines, are essentially being stolen and vandalized. They're cutting the lines. In most instances, it's, you know, upwards of 100 feet. I want to say we've had a few that are 200 to 300 feet long. And what they're doing is they're then taking that line and trying to melt down the surrounding plastic to access the metal wires or copper wires that are inside, and then turning around and taking those to a recycling center. It's not unique to North Richmond. It's actually happening countywide. I can tell you it's happening in other ends on the Western County. El Sobrani's had a similar problem. We're seeing similar problems in Terre Hills, San Pablo. I was actually advised today, or at least all of Bay Station was, by San Pablo PD, that they had been in contact with an AT&T worker who had actually seen somebody earlier today who it looked like they were attempting to steal the line. It doesn't sound like they were successful, but even if they don't get the actual line itself, there is some damage that's being caused to that. Several reasons that's of concern is some of these lines, you know, support some of the infrastructure. Some of the businesses down in North Richmond rely on those lines to be able to, especially if we're talking about doing e-commerce, and, you know, if you're doing any sort of online sales. I can tell you that I was advised of at least one business that was it had a pretty significant impact because their business relies primarily on the online sales. The other is that some of those lines may affect your ability to make phone calls in and out, and or just have, you know, internet access and things of that nature. So one of the challenges is, depending on the line and depending on you know, the way it's packaged, is it can be hard to confirm whether or not it's stolen line. With that being said, there are investigative measures that, you know, can allow us to take people into custody. I will tell you that some of the deputies from day shift actually made an arrest, and in large part thanks to the help of the business owners down there. They actually saw something that looked suspicious. They called it in, and their hunches were correct. The people were actually had just stolen the cable. So we were able to get some people in custody on that. And then we also located some of the camps to where they're actually taking the stuff to strip the wiring out. So we are making progress, but again, that it is a challenging one, and it's one that very quickly they can do a lot of damage, and it has a pretty significant impact to the folks down there. Outside of that, I heard the comments regarding the trucks turning. That would be a CHP matter. However, if you know, if there's signs that are posted and they shouldn't be going that route, I can let the deputies know to monitor that as well, and take whatever enforcement action that they're able to see, and try and deter some of those activities. I'm not sure if the sideshows are still taking place. I've been speaking with the deputies. I've actually sent some of the deputies to some training specific to sideshows and sideshow enforcement, specifically because of some of the conversations that were had here in this MAC meeting. So hopefully we can implement some of those down there and deter them. But my hope is that they're not happening as often as they were, and as often as they were being reported a couple months ago. Outside of that, I don't have much at this time. Are there any questions for me?
Do we have any questions for our sheriff? But I just want to reiterate the mentioning of the trucks that has been coming through and has been identified at the location, and to make sure that you have possibly the time that we actually see them to come through around 10, and it's usually loading in, you know, getting the loads and running and loading out. So if we could be mindful of the time that they probably load and then leave, and around 10 o'clock, around 10, you know, 9:30, and probably to have one of our sheriffs nearby to see which route they're taking, or the APP.
Especially the e-pulley truck. That diesel truck comes in almost at least 3 times a week. You pull it diesel truck, carrying smash cars, and then leave it empty.
So he comes over the tracks?
No, he comes over to Fred Jackson, makes a left to go to the market to go to e-pulley.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Then it's going back with Brookside?
Yes.
Okay. Sheriff, did you hear that?
Yeah, I think I got most of that. It was a diesel truck that's coming in on Fred Jackson, making a left on the market.
Yes, especially the e-pulley diesel truck.
Mike. Did you hear it?
I'm missing that first
Mr.
part.
Craig, did you speak again?
Yes, the e-pulley diesel truck, it comes across the bridge, Fred Jackson way, and makes a left going to e-pulley, and then it comes back down, Market Avenue empty, make a right turn back on Fred Jackson way, and then leave out North Richmond.
Okay.
It's specifically the e-pulley diesel truck.
That's interesting.
If someone's online in there, would you be able to put the description of that diesel truck into the chat?
Yeah, pictures. Come on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You put a diesel truck, but it's a flatbed truck, and the carriage, which is what you call
the flatbed.
What do you call it? The driver sits there?
The cab.
The cab. Yes, it has you put it right on the side. Passenger door and driver, he put his truck.
Okay. All right. The other thing I have of note, as far as Sheriff's Office goes, is we'll be continuing meeting with the PTA at Verde Elementary starting this Friday on October 6th. So we found that to be very helpful in meeting with the parents and hearing some of their concerns and the staff of the school. Both Tanya and Marta got us set up there and found it very useful and very helpful to address some of the concerns, specifically the safe passage to and from school, and then also a lot of the activities that were taking place in the creek. So we'll be resuming that October 6th, and we're looking forward to that. And yeah, any other questions for me at this time?
Yes, I have my hand up. I'm on Zoom. This is Marina Brown for the Shields Reed Neighborhood Council. Would like to request that the Highway Patrol come back out to address the homeless encampment that's in the RV that's on Hensley as soon as you cross over from Willard Avenue and Sanford. Because what they did was you guys had them move, but they just moved directly across the street. They did not vacate the area. They just moved directly across the street. They moved everything directly across the street. So and now they're on the side of Sealy Mattress. But they said that the Highway Patrol has to basically ticket or tag them to move.
Okay, well, what I can do also is I'll let code enforcement know. The Board of Supervisors actually earmarked funding for specifically boats and RVs and trailers. There's, certain things, obviously, not able to be living out of that on public roadways. It's got to be certain things, and then it's got to be operational and worthy of the road as well. But I'll let code enforcement know. I'll also let Deputy Sakai know as far as mitigation. He has experience dealing with the RVs. He's resolved several of them, so I'll have him follow up on it tomorrow. Do you, other than the location, do you have a brief description of the RV?
It's a large, sort of beat up. I think it's sort of like a beige color. Okay. There's also a white van in front of it, and I also would like to report. I don't know if Annie or somebody else has already reported. I'm going to get to that one. Yes, go ahead, Marina. So there's another beige beat up RV that's located on 4th Street on the side of 369 Chesley. And the cross street is Chesley Avenue.
Okay.
And it's in the county.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for the help.
Yes.
Yeah, actually there is one is right now on 4th Street for the church, but Jesse.
That's what we just, that's one. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
So just on that, I just went this past week, knocked on doors, so I'm with Safe Organized Spaces.
Okay, wait.
I'm sorry. So I'm with Safe Organized Spaces. I just went to the 4th Street one. I'm trying to get contact with them, but I didn't get the full address and even where the other one was. So I can try to respond to some of the calls, and I can leave my flyer. And you can always give us a call when you spot that, and we can try to be one of the first contacts.
You might want to check.
Wait a minute, so we will have to meet. I'm going to give you some.
One more there's one on right in front of the store, but it's an empty lot, but it's some trees, and then it's like somebody's living there.
Say that one more time.
By the front of the store. On the empty lot, like on the corner, it's like it looks like somebody is like
inside of the
lot.
Okay.
Yeah, that is something that I didn't see before. It's something new that somebody's living like on the empty lot and it's really something like that is
Big. What's the name of the street right here?
I think it's on Fifth Market.
All right.
So what I'll do after this meeting, I'll get with you.
Okay.
Okay, because Marina is the president of the neighborhood council. And I work with the vice president. So I will identify some of these streets that were just mentioned. If it's not clear for the location, so you can have that. So you can do your knocking and let them know that they're on the okay, that they're on the okay, thank you so very much, our sheriff. Are there any other, law enforcement online?
I don't see any. I don't see someone from Richmond.
Okay, hearing none, okay. Thank you all for your participation. We're gonna move it on to our next item on the agenda. And we're gonna have Tuesday to be to give us an update for the Ascension Equitable and Economic Subcommittee for another year.
Yes, so my quick update on this is that we recommend to extend the Equitable Economic Subcommittee for another year. So we started the subcommittee a year ago with the goal to have development standards for North Richmond, because we were noticing different types of development projects that the community didn't want in North Richmond. And so this committee was created with the goal of making sure that if there are businesses, that we understand which ones they are. And then if they committed to the community, such as community benefits agreements or other benefits, that we log them and we keep track of them. So during this past year, an inventory of businesses was created in North Richmond. We were able to look back a decade to see what were those community benefits agreements. We were also able to meet with the Department of Conservation and Development to see if there's any prospective folks who want to develop in North Richmond and what those projects are. And little by little, we've been putting together a list of development standards that we've been hearing from community members, but the work is not done. And this is why we want to extend the subcommittee for another year. The second year will be more around taking the development standards, making sure that we finalize them with input from folks in the neighborhood, and then creating a matrix of those standards that can be more enforceable through the Department of Conservation and Development. So that's my update. And I want to thank all the committee members who have been working hard on this. And so I guess I motion to extend the Equitable Development or Equitable and Economic Subcommittee for another year.
Okay, with that, Tuesday, could you give us, just since this is your giving an update, could you give just a little summary of who the members were, you know, who they are and how it started? Just a briefing so people, you know, we gave this information, but to really acknowledge, you know, the members that are working and how large the subcommittee and what was some of the first challenges and the first thing you ever looked at and where we at.
Yes, so the folks who started the subcommittee, myself, my colleague Princess Robinson, who isn't here, and my other colleague Don Gilmore, who also isn't here. And so we got together because we're all very interested. We were working on the general plan, zoning, and we were like, hey, we are members of the MAC. Let's try to do more and meet for additional time to be able to see what else we can do to make sure that there are more development standards for North Richmond, that we hold development and businesses accountable to the needs of the community. And so it was started and created by 3 MAC committee members. And we've been meeting probably 1 to 2 hours a month to work on this. And it's been really great. And that's aside from the subcommittee meetings that take place once a month on Wednesday at 10 a.m. And so we have gotten many community members at those meetings as well, sharing what they want to see in North Richmond as far as, you know, the neighborhood surrounding and the development projects. So yeah, much credit to Princess and Don, who are not here as well.
And if I may say, just to clarify for our Brown Act, not just the 3 MAC members, but in your own right of actually moving forward in this. Don Gilmore is presenting with CHDC. You are presenting with land use
Richmond MAC.
Come on, thank you. We don't wanna, we gotta cut this line. And Princess is with the cooperative
Corporation.
There we go. So don't think that we're having MAC members meeting together in collusion. This is not like that. Everybody is standing on their own and bringing this information back. Okay, we gotta be very careful about that. Okay? All right, thank you.
Yes, so I motion if to extend the equitable and economic subcommittee for another year.
Okay, so, any second, okay. Any extensions for this motion that's on the floor? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none. So with that, we will be extending the subcommittee for another year with all 3 entities to get together to work for the good of the community at this point and bring this information back into the MAC. Okay? All right, thank you. All right. Okay, so with that, now, item 6, a presentation and a proclamation from our council member, Deborah Scott.
Oh, I didn't see that on the menu.
Yeah.
Good evening, thank you all who are attending in person, who are attending online. It's going to be the most quiet of the man. I've been on the board about 12 years now, and that's a short time in comparison to the time that others like Sandy King and Dr. Mark been on the board. And prior to that, we had Jimmy Tate, who was on the board, who expired. And I wanted to honor and memorialize her, and I never got around to it. And last year, the year before, we lost Dr. Henry.
And it's been a year, and his birthday was on the 17th.
Yes, so I attempt in September to honor a community member that I see that's visible and committed to doing work in North Richmond. Last year, Marina was selected, and this year we selected, or I selected, Cordell Henry. And I did that because he is committed to showing up to all of the meetings. He doesn't need some backing except tonight. Meetings and I assume he attends your neighborhood work meetings. And so it's just a certificate of special supervisor recognition. And it does Cordell Henry, and it's the Dr. Henry Clark Community Leadership, and we're gonna modify it to say engagement. And so he will receive this certificate tomorrow, or whenever he makes it to Supervisor Joy's office, and then it comes with cash. A little voluntary thank you, and to support his support.
Very good. I have to agree with Councilman, God, for all days, even in Zoom, man, you know, is he on vacation? Did he let you know, Tanya, he's on vacation or whatever?
No, he said that, cause he attends many meetings, I think.
Yeah.
Is very active in a lot of things. I think he really deserves this glory. And I spoke to him on Monday because he went to our office, and he said that the Richmond City Council was gonna be very juicy and like was gonna have a lot of items that he was very passionate about. And he felt like he needed to be there to really like speak up on some of those items. So that's why he's not here, but he was very flattered to be honored. And you know, of course, I think being who he is, he's like me, and I'm like, what the hell? Like you show up every month. You've been showing up for so many years. So I think we all can worthy of this. So thank you for everything for making it happen.
Yeah, wonderful. Very good. Excellent. Okay, great. Very good. Great selection. Okay, with that, we're moving on. We're at item 7, and this is now our agency and program report. And let's keep it at 5 minutes, please. And if we do that, and let me do my calculation, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 25. We're gonna hit that 25. 2 minutes, well, I'll take 20. Oh, yeah, that's me. Okay. 5 minutes. I wish we had one of those clocks. We don't have to get one of these clocks, but to keep it in. So let's start with our City of Richmond Community Service Department. Please, yes.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm with the North Richmond Middle School Library, and I'll keep this under 5 minutes. If you are a resident of North Richmond and you are at least 18 years old, you are eligible to sign up and rent tools for free. We're out there the first and third Saturdays of every month. I brought some brochures if anybody. I'm gonna just give them to whoever might actually want one, because I didn't bring a whole bunch. Make sure it's not in Spanish. Not in Spanish, but yeah, so you can look at our inventory. We have a website, you can see all the tools we have. So if anybody wants any more information on that, just let me know. I can give you my phone number if I've got one more. And the North Richmond Mobile School Library, we're going to be hosting a cleanup event during this quarter. And me and Stephanie and Andy are going to go this Friday and check out some spots in North Richmond where we're going to focus and do our cleanup. Kalu and Tanya and Janine, thank you for the suggestions. We're going to go, we're going to check out Market. We're going to check out the safe routes to school. We've done that one before, weeding the sidewalks and stuff. And then the new one is the Watershed Project's Nature Loop. I'm not that familiar with what that route is. We're gonna just look around Richmond this Friday, see what looks like it needs the most help. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I got today. Thanks everybody for listening. And again, if anybody has any questions for me, please don't hesitate.
Okay, thank you so very much. Next is Shield Street Neighborhood Council. President Marina, are you there?
Yes, we have nothing to report currently.
Okay, thank you, madam. Housing Authority, Contra Costa Housing Authority.
Good evening, everybody. This is Tony Usferry. Real briefly, so we told you that we awarded 4 properties to 4 of the nonprofit developers from North Richmond. We are currently working out some details with one of them about which properties are actually going to be part of their $1 purchase. And also at the same time, we're drafting up a letter to send to HUD so that they can approve the sales. And concurrently, while all of that is happening, we're meeting with realtors, our realtor, and we've had an appraiser hired. They're going to go around and do an appraisal, I think with 5 different properties, so that they get kind of a base price on what the market sales units are going to cost. So they're looking at, like, if a duplex is 2 4-bedrooms, or if it's 1 3-bedroom, 1 4-bedroom, or one 1-bedroom and 1 2-bedroom. Each one of those configurations we're doing an appraisal of, and we'll get give everybody an idea of what they can expect that the market rate units will cost. And once that happens, we will try to concurrently not only close on the $1 sales, but also get the market rate sales out there. There will be a lot more information coming on the market rate sales we're planning on doing a community meeting or two, getting everybody to, kind of understand what the options are, that it's not going to generally be a traditional financing structure because of the amount of improvements that need to be made to the units. There are different alternative types of financing, and we're working with not only Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services, but also CHDC to explore what some of those would be and how they would help some of these families. The other thing that we're doing is working with We the North they've been working with some of the other folks out of North Richmond to try to figure out a youth center in North Richmond. And so we're trying to identify one of those duplexes that might work for that. Like everything else that's been popping up with the development of North Richmond, every time we think we've got something figured out, something else comes up. In this particular scenario, zoning issues are coming up with the housing element, just kind of imminently going to the Board of Supervisors for approval. There may have to be some changes made to that after the fact to change zoning to actually make a youth center happen. So there's a lot of stuff going on around the scattered site sales. And at the same time, we've also brought in one of our colleagues in the housing world to start kind of crafting a request for proposal for the development of the main campus. So lots of activity going on. As we know things and as we solidify some of these processes, we will bring them back to the MAC, of course. In the meantime, Hannah had shared information about our website. I encourage you all to sign up there for alerts. We have updates on where we are with the process already, and we'll continue to update that as we go. Okay. I'll take any questions, or Hannah, if you want to throw anything out, did I forget anything?
I think you covered it. I just put the website in the chat.
We do have someone in our audience that has a question for you.
And Zoom.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear any of that.
Oh, you can hear me? Well, we have someone here in our audience that has a question for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, in regards to the selling of the properties, that are just going to be market value. I have a question in regards to, are you saying you do not know exactly when the regular market value units will be listed for sale? Because the reason why I'm asking, because the first way you guys said that selling to a start this past August. And I know 2 people that applied for loans in anticipation. And if you don't know when they're going to go actually on sale, you're only qualified to have a loan for, I believe, up to 90 days if you're going to purchase the property. And these people both told me, and including myself, that the loan was canceled because they couldn't purchase the property because they can't. You guys haven't put up for sale. According to the brochure, you guys sent out there for $7 for sale back in August. So are you saying that you still don't have an exact date or time or month when they're actually going to go on sale to the general public?
I think you're speaking of phase 2.
Yes, correct.
Right. Okay. Phase 2.
Right. So the reason we haven't given you a timeline is because honestly, we don't know. There's too many factors that we are working out. So, I mean, I could give you a timeline to say, well, we're thinking, late November, early December, but I'd be lying. I don't know that that's actually going to be the case. Again, we have not only to get all of the steps of the process in place, figure out whether we're going to need to do an appraisal of everything up front, whether we're just going to do what we're currently planning to do and just get general prices and then put them out there. And, you know, again, you have to remember, everything has to be sold at market value based on a certified third-party appraisal. So, you know, no matter what we do, if we go and do even the appraisals we do now, if 6 months goes by and we haven't hit the market yet, those will go stale. So, you know, it's a constantly changing ebb and flow here. And, you know, we're not trying to complicate people's lives. Trust me, this process is complicated enough as it is on its own, without factoring in all the schedules. So we're trying the best we can to make sure that we give everybody as much information as we can as early as possible. We can tell you it's coming. Get pre-qualified if you can. If you're looking at bank loans, again, I would strongly encourage you, when you're talking to lenders, to let them know that these units are basically going to have to be gutted and taken to the studs. If you don't tell them that, and then they qualify you for a loan amount, and then they come and do an appraisal, they're going to say, yeah, that's not going to happen. You know, so they have to be going into this process with open eyes. And like I said, make sure that you're registered on the interest list so that we're constantly sending emails as we learn of new milestones. We will be doing community meetings to talk about the process, to talk about maybe even introducing you to some of the resources that we will hopefully have connected to this, so that you can, you know, start working that relationship. I know the Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services had mentioned that they have a loan source that would be helpful where you're buying a home that requires so much construction. But I don't know if there's thresholds on that or income limits or anything like that. So as we learn these things and as we have more information, we will absolutely share that.
Okay, I appreciate the information that you gave me, but I still don't believe you answered my question, because I stated this back in July in regards to phase 2 starting in August. So basically, when you say you don't have an idea, because it clearly said phase 2 will start in August until all units are sold. You have to understand.
Phase 2 is going to, yeah, again, what I didn't want to do in July is give you a timeline because we didn't know. What I don't want to do in October is give you a timeline because I don't know, because we're going to have exactly what's happening right now. You're going to tell me, oh, you told me it was going to be August, I ran out and did this, and now it all expired and it wasted my time. Again, we don't know what that schedule is going to be. And as we learn timelines, we're sharing that. So you have to keep, you know, watching our website, keep focused on, you know, the progress we make. It's not like we're trying to lie to you or drag in our feet. There's a lot involved here. It's not your typical, hey, there's a house over there, throw a for sale sign and let's sell it. There's a lot that surrounds all of this.
No, I understand.
You can't just.
No, I understand that. Just every time you apply for a loan, that's to get credit. And my concern is when you guys do have a date for a month that you guys are actually going to put the units on for sale, then I have to go through the whole process. And again, it takes up to 90 days to get approved for a loan, and I could miss out on a potential purchase because I'm keep getting, technically speaking, it is kind of a runaround when you give us one date, and then that date comes and passes, and you don't have a date to give it again. That's my only concern.
No, and it's well taken, and we're gonna move on, but this is, you know, I'm giving my spiel for different loans and what institutions to go to institutions, just from my experience of working with different properties. Certain institutions you can go to, they'll hold that percentage, looking at your, you know, looking at your rate, you know, hold it, they'll hold it for longer than 90 days. And the only thing you have to do is go in to refresh that same unit for that money. I'm doing it now, okay? So it's a refreshment. You go and it's a refreshment. They don't tell you all, but you will be awarded X amount of dollars, okay? And if they know that you have a good rating they will hold it longer than 90 days for you. And you come back and refresh, and you bring your past, what you call it, you know, your check stub, any money that you have coming in the previous month, they'll ask for those past two, say you did your 90 days, okay? And then they say, okay, your 90 days up, but let's do a refreshment, bring in your last two, and that'll give you.
No, I understand.
Right, and that gives you time, so that'll keep a rolling, that'll.
No, I understand that, but I want to change, and Chase already did it once with me, and they said after.
You're like, change, do something.
No, I you know, I think the fact about more so.
Get real tech, look at other government institutes that give you.
Yeah, I understand that, but I've been able to change for the past 20 years, I want to stick with change, but. Like I said, I already been back, because we came back in July, I went to them. And the 3 months that I had passed, they gave me one more. So I'm like, what is the process? I can only go what they give me on paper as far as when they're gonna put the unit on for sale. I don't want to keep my credit getting hit.
Right, until you it's assured, no, but like you said, it's a lot of different, you know, it's a lot of, you know. And not only here in Contra Costa, they doing it in Oakland and Alameda and different, you know, LA, they doing it in different places, other properties, they, you know, they release, they get rid of these properties that's not bringing in revenue. Okay, you're gonna kill me, we say, yeah, then we're gonna keep it moving, okay?
Okay, really quickly, you know, a long time ago, this was a recommendation we made, Richmond MAC made, to the early work of the sale of the land was what readiness programs, how can we get residents of North Richmond ready to purchase the parcels and not just, you know, the, like even for market rate, you know, what are the tips and secrets that folks know to get our community ready to purchase if they want to do that. So it was something that was brought to the attention early on. So just want to say that that is really important, especially if we want to keep North Richmond.
Right. Okay, thank you, so we're gonna have to.
Yeah, of course, you want to emphasize. I can understand why you would think of the Chase, but considering the competitive market that we are in such a situation, I highly recommend, second what you said, looking at a specific lender that only does home loans. For example, JDM Lending, offices in Walnut Creek, super fast, they'll respond to you, and they'll be able to make those updates when the time is right. The second thing to note too is that Chase in particular and any major bank, they're going to focus on homes that are move-in ready. So it's important to have a conversation of what type of loan you're approved for, whether it's FHA or conventional. Either one of them still is not gonna, when they do the appraisal, they're not going to approve your loan for the simple fact that they're not move-in ready. Now, if you're putting out equity in your current home and using those funds to purchase, that's different.
No, I because I don't know, you know, very, you know,
Perfect, good, okay, but thank you, so we're gonna, keep it moving, because I did do the 5, 10, 15 minutes, what, we got somebody else up there?
Latifa.
Okay, let's Latifa.
Hey there, so to the gentleman that's there, maybe you can, when you make your offer, it could be subject to financing and you can include a letter saying, kind of sharing what you just shared. And then definitely, so Tony, you mentioned that, okay, is somebody talking with me also? Okay, all right, I thought I heard an echo. So Tony, you had mentioned the public meeting, so that sounds like that's gonna be pretty important and to have like the neighborhood housing services or whomever has those resources with the type of financing that'll be needed for these properties. But I wanted to ask you about the youth center. So when you have these public meetings, will We the North be one of the partners there in the public meetings?
We don't know yet. You know, we're still in just early discussions. We don't know exactly how it's going to evolve and progress, but if it comes to that, then absolutely. I mean, look, we've had our cards on the table from the very beginning on this. I know that everyone has, a underlying belief that we're not providing all the information, and I trust me, we're providing you all the information that we have when we get it. Sometimes it changes. We're all part of that. We don't like to see a change, but some of these things are out of our hands. So
Yeah, you did mention that I think, I don't know if, the units had to be used for affordable housing. So I don't know if that was just the dollar units or also the market rate units. But if and when this goes before the Board of Supervisors, if you could give us a heads up, and that way we can be there to support
it would be our Board of Commissioners, but yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. Went a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but with that, Tony, we'll have you come back. Probably not as on the agency program report, but you will have more time to do a presentation to bring you back.
Absolutely, and I want to apologize. We had hoped to do it this month, but I'm actually in New Orleans right now for a housing conference, so it's a bit of a challenge for me to do that.
That's what we'll do, so we can get a lot of these questions, answered, instead of me telling you got 5 minutes to do this, so everybody can be clear what's going on, to have a dialogue, okay? So that's fair?
Totally agree.
Right. Okay, thank you. Okay, Supervisor Joya, chime in, please.
Yeah, I'm away from the speaker because I'm afraid.
There's a feedback.
Yeah. So I'll give a quick update. So this Thursday at 11 a.m. we're gonna have a youth stakeholder meeting, and it's focused on North Richmond. So basically, as was mentioned, I think different people like Eleanor and We the North and others have mentioned is that there's not enough resources for youth in North Richmond. So one way we're trying to address it is to bring different stakeholders who offer youth services and opportunities to kind of work collaboratively and work on initiatives together to kind of help youth in North Richmond and support We the North in their proposal to open up a youth center in North Richmond. So those are kind of the two focuses, are the supporting the North in the youth center, and then also supporting the K-8, because now they go up to middle school, so they have some older kids there, and they also need some support. So those will kind of be some of the focuses for that meeting, and it's an open meeting. If you're interested in supporting youth in North Richmond, I highly recommend and invite people to join us. So this Thursday at 11 a.m. it's via Zoom. And then on Friday, as Lieutenant Rodriguez mentioned, the Verde PTA is hosting a public safety meeting with the sheriff department, and we've met multiple times with the PTA, and they've been really great at giving us feedback and working collaboratively also with the sheriff department on different issues. So we're going to start those meetings again, and those are also open to the public. Like anyone can go to those meetings, and I think the kind of focus of that meeting is to hear from parents, from parents and students about what's happening and what they think they kind of should focus on. And then the last announcement is that on Saturday, October 14th, the Verde is having a yard sale to support the PTA. So it's gonna be from 9 to 3 p.m. and they close down the parking lot at the school, and they have different vendors. And then they and it's really great. They have food, they have clothes. I found a lot of really cute clothes when I went to that. And so I highly recommend, it's a great cause to support kids, support the school. So I highly recommend October 14th. Those are my updates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Tanya? Yeah. And, can you send me an invite for the tomorrow?
Wait till you get the mic.
Can you send an email with the information for the youth resources? Because one thing that I really want to bring and ask you is, we have a lot of kids in our Richmond that do not attend to rarely. So it would be really nice if we have resources for those kids too, and have a work with them. So it would be very important to see what all the kids that are in the neighborhood and the kids that can be. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next we have our, community housing development corporation, John is here. But if you have something, and then, not only, CAPC report, you'll fold into the mitigation also, okay?
Real quick, I'm a scholar in the service for navigation, here at the community, Science City, Senior and Family Community Center, they have a food pantry that goes every Tuesday and Friday, 9 to 11. I invite you to come by, learn a variety of foods for the community. Also, CHC has collaborated with Chevron, one of our partners, created a garden in that area for you guys to go and take a look at it. It's a community garden. They're also helping us to build a new fence to keep it, segregated off from everything else. There's fresh food going back there, and the park's doing good food, so they put a lot of money into it. Carrots, it was definitely for you to go take a look at it. CHC's Community Resource Center continues to grow. Last month, August, they had over 100 people help. This month, over 100 people they were able to help. So people are really starting to get a feel for the resource center and use services that they provide. Also, CRC Community Resource Center collaborated with Way to Love, SOS, O'Neill getting some of that piece, and also Richmond Works to hire some of unhoused residents that live in the community. We had over 40 people show up and go through the process of the vetting process of getting hired. We're planning on doing another event. Hopefully, we continue that partnership with Richmond Works to bring them over here to help with some of the things that we have some challenges in. So that's my report for CHBC. Going over to mitigation. Mitigation last month, we had over 120 violations, obviously, with legal dumping. That's down from the previous month, so that's a great thing. 174 in the previous month. Total for the quarter was 418, I believe. So that's just my report. The Public Services also has a report, and they are doing a lot better job past quarter. Just making sure that they're picking up miscellaneous items out there in the street. So I want to definitely shout them out for the job that they're doing. Also, this past weekend, we had the Willie Spears cleanup. The Willie Spears cleanup was great. We serviced over 707 people during the day. We had 23 dumpsters, 2 metal bins. They have not reported how many tons of garbage that we picked up that day, but they did a lot better job this time, just getting the word out. As you can see, instead of delivering the quarterly newsletter that we normally deliver out to residents, because a lot of residents were saying they weren't getting because of the delivery service, gates being locked or dogs being behind the gate. So a lot of times the ambassadors try to stick it in between the fences, but people were not getting it. So we got a little creative, came up with a door hanger. So hopefully most people got this. Just couldn't get to you. We have the Spanish, the English. We also attached a new Spears flyer to it. So hopefully everybody got it. We also on the website, the Facebook website we have. So I try to keep all the material on that. It's also on the county website. Each thing that we're putting out nowadays, look at this resources that are available. There's a QR code on there, and I implore you to scan the QR code. It takes you to the county website, and it takes you directly to all the newsletters that have been printed from this month and all the previous newsletters. So I think that's all I have.
I just have just something to, tag in, and I hope that you all are aware of, putting you two on the spot, you and Ms. Janine. But are there not going to be, a participation with a Davis Chapel on the 7th of this month? I think Ms. Janine, this is for, our regional,
Yes.
program that we have with Davis Chapel, yes. And I think someone has to take, right, I think someone has to table, see if you had a table or, yes. Okay, so it's open to the community, so this is what I'm trying to say, I didn't hear it, so I know it has been out for a month. And it was just to reiterate, that this was gonna be taking place. And then I have one other, quick announcement, and I don't want to put my director on the spot, but we have to acknowledge him, this is our wastewater, but I do that after I know, okay?
The festival that we were just talking about for Plain Russian is on at the Davis Chapel Church, 369 Chinsley Ave. The time is at 10 a.m.
Okay. This is very good. Okay, the other, and we're gonna keep it moving, but I do want to, and I think this is something that I know this was the last minute, but I do want to kind of put wastewater for report out, what's going on here in the community. To serve, the community, but we'll do that at the last end of the last reports that are listed, okay? So Richmond Lane.
Yes. And I want to thank Kalu for the incredible work, because I know there was a lot of innovation. But I can be some more focused about what the programs are. So, major applause for that. In terms of our updates, we were one of the nonprofit organizations that were awarded sites for $1. We were awarded 4 buildings. We're looking at solidifying which of 4 we are going to land on to close the deal. But as of now, they are the ones closest as you drive into Birdie Elementary School. So it's 1927, European Street, and then the one across the street are the 2 that we've been looking at. On October 19th at 11:30 a.m., Richmond Land is a part of a community land trust network called the California Community Land Trust Network. And we are going to do a bus tour for the North Richmond Eco Village sites, how we got to that place, why we selected those sites, and how we did ideation with the residents. So there will be about 50 to 60 strangers and folks who are going to come in and take a tour of what's the North Richmond Eco Village. All of you are invited if you want to attend, and that's October 19th at 11:30 a.m. We'll meet in front of 1927 Garamiga Street or across the street. So that's the second update. And the third and final update is we are planning our annual holiday light display. And the date is December 13th and or 14th. We'll have flyers in the coming months, but if anyone wants to get involved with that or wants to support, if you're a nonprofit and you want to support, please let me know. Or if you're a resident and you want to be a part of the want more information, also let me know. That's it.
That concludes your report.
Okay, I'm complete.
Okay, thank you. Okay, did Princess ever come on for Corporation Richmond? Princess, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't have no updates though. Thank you all.
Okay. And we'll make sure that you're not absent from the MAC, okay? Thank you. Okay, Urban Till.
Well, good evening. Yes, ma'am. Good evening. Okay, so for those of you who may be new, we're at the farm. The North Richmond farm is at 323 Brookside Drive. And we have 3 acres there. We bought another 7 acres next door. So right now, the 3 acres is under construction. So the underground utilities have gone in. And if you pass by there, you'll probably see some road work also. So what's being installed there is a sanitary sewer main and Brookside Drive to connect the farm to the West County wastewater district system. And then planning is underway for the fall to start the phase 2 construction of several buildings there. So that is the farm update. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, we have a couple of events. So we have let's see, the Food is Medicine Health Fair. That's October 27th. We're partnering with the Korean Center and Family Community Center. That's going to be October 27th from 10 to 2. There'll be vendor tables with community resources, food demos, smoothies, fresh produce, music, exercise, dance. And then also I mentioned the Food for Thought. We want to support volunteering. So they have been around for about 14 years, making sure that the children have food over the break. And so they're asking for volunteers December 9th through the 14th, delivering to 15 San Pablo and Richmond schools, including Verde. And then the final event, we've been working with the Black neighborhood, the Family Justice Center, Fresh Approach, having free farmers markets. And so the last one for this year, this is the fourth and final one. It'll be October 14th from 9 to 12 at in the parking lot of McLaughlin Temple. And that is our update for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Latifa. Now, as I did say that, roughly, I just want to acknowledge our wastewater director, Mr. David Avro, which is district? I'm 2 now, you're district 3. District 3, and he is our vice president. So he has been coming to this meeting, and eventually we will be giving out a report of wastewater is doing. And as you know, and if you don't know, I am the other hat for the wastewater district 2. I represent District 2. So we will be bringing you information, what is happening at our plant and the good things that are happening in the environment and green and clean, okay? So hopefully next month, I'm working on having a presentation and tell you, this is the first time you're hearing it, but I'm putting it out there that we will try to have our PR person to come and do a presentation on the wastewater for what we're doing, the good things that we're doing at the plant, okay? So I just wanted you to mention that. So with that, hearing all the reports that has been given to us this evening, I am looking to, I guess, to adjourn this meeting for tonight. Okay, and thank you all so very much for attending.
It's for people who do the walking, okay, on here.
Wastewater?
No, the people that were saying